Perché noi parliamo lo sloveno in Italia?
Why we are talking Slovenian in
Italia.
For 500 years, till 1917, this region was under the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Under this empire, we were talking in Slovenian, German, Friulano, and also Italian language.
Welcome to Modo di Bere, the podcast about local drinks and local sayings. I'm your host, Rose Thomas Bannister. Today, I'm at my new favorite restaurant, Lokanda Devetak, with Tatjana and Avguštin from the family who I understand have been running this restaurant for 6 generations?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. I arrived last night after being told by everyone in this region that I needed to visit, but I didn't do a big research before arriving. I was just welcomed to this amazing house, which is like a living museum, but not a museum in the sense that things don't happen anymore. I feel actually, now that I know the story of your great-great-great-grandfather fixing the shoes, that I'm still welcomed into your family home. It's a wonderful atmosphere. The place is so beautiful. I had just really one of the best meals ever in my life, not just for the amazing quality of the foods that are, I know, grown by your sister, prepared by your mother, served to us by everyone, but also an amazing experience with Avguštin choosing for us a glass of wine with each of our courses. Wonderful wines, some I knew, but some Skerk, for instance, I hadn't had. Oh, just really, really lovely wines. And then Tatjana took us into the cellar. I stayed in the beautiful room, and now we're here talking, sharing, and it's just the kind of things I'm interested in. So it's a really incredible place, and I hope everyone comes to visit. Please tell me more about the family today who is working here together.
In these days, we are my parents and my 3 sisters. My older sister runs a farm that provide us with vegetables, fruits, jams, and so on. The other 3 sisters working together here in the restaurant. One is in the kitchen, one is in the sala, servizio, and I help my sister in the rooms, and also I work in the back office.
Nice. What are everybody's names?
Avguštin,
Sí.
Tatjana,
Sí.
Sara, the older sister, Tjasa, Michaela, and my mom is Gabriela.
So I just met Gabriela just now. I came down for breakfast in this beautiful old-fashioned room and ate a frittata with herbs. That was so good. And beautiful cheese, beautiful yogurt. And I smelled the chicken stock coming from the kitchen.
Anyway, I think the frittata made from him.
Ah, Avguštin.
Yeah.
Okay. It was delicious. So I smelled this beautiful smell. Gabriela emerged from the kitchen and brought me in to show me all the chicken stock and the bread dough. And, my life is really local farm products. So this place excites me very much. So 6 generations, Lokanda Devetak. This interest in the regional wine here and the amazing cellar is probably why so many people recommended that I come and visit. So I wonder, Avguštin, is this a special interest of yours, or has wine and the wines of the territory always been a part of the stories?
La passione del vino è
He was
arrivata
about 30 years old
negli
and
anni.
he visited the Cellar Gravner, Josko Gravner. He was there about 3 hours talking about wine. And at the end, he didn't drink any wine. Gravner said, you are not ready for my wine. First of all, learn, study, and then we'll be ready. And from that was the starting of curiosity, of love for the wine. He started to visit every cellar in Friuli Venezia Giulia and make some courses and yes.
So I recognize this name and I really like this story, but for our listeners, briefly, could you explain who is Gravner?
Josko Gravner è una
Basically,
abitante.
it's one of the most wine producers in Friuli Venezia Giulia, but he's still a farmer because he is the best of the natural wines. The first that takes barrique here and the first that has cancelled it, eliminated. He started with the maceration of the grapes. He started also to take amphora here in our region, and he is for natural wines, natural producers, and is a person that knows what does it mean work in vineyards. It's the best of the wine producers. It's for a lot of people is the guru of the winemaking.
Is he the origin, do you think, of the new orange wine movement around the world?
Sì.
Sì.
Con lui Stanko Radikon.
Josko Gravner, Walter Mlečnik, Stanko Radikon,
La
di Bensa was the first that start to work with maceration, and that then this orange movement moved to the world. He said also one thing, that every big restaurant in the world has almost one bottle of Gravner in its cantina.
Yes, I remember in my life working in Italian wine, I worked at a wine shop run by a man from Sardinia with kind of like this place, big, beautiful furniture, old, nice rug, just nice old surroundings. And there was a wooden case in the middle of the room with all the most exciting bottles. And right in the middle was Gravner. So Modo di Bere is about wine and about language. Also other drinks, but mostly wine, mostly Italy. But it's also about the story that language can tell about a territory, just like wine. And when we started, I was speaking as if I'm speaking to Italians, because that's mostly what I do. And Avguštin said, no, we are of the Slovenian mother tongue. And there's a distinction there that I want to talk more about. So please tell me about being Slovenian speakers here in this place.
Prima di tutto, prima parlavamo del vino.
We were talking about the producers in Collio that start with orange wines, Gravner, Radikon, Castellada. Then he mentioned also Primožić, Princic, il Carpino, Sošol, Figel, that are producers in Oslavia of this orange wine, that are all Slovenian, like we are, so Slovenian that lives in Italy. But he said we cannot forget also Carso region. Also here we have a lot of mostly producers of wine are Slovenian, that are Zidaric, Benjamin, Sandi Škerk, Matej Škerl, Rado Kocijancic, Vodopivec, also Kante, that are all of those are wine producers, are also Slovenian, and they are like in Berda, in Carso, it's the same. This is why he then said this is the red line, because also they are Slovenian. We are here in the region, it's on the border.
Perché noi parliamo lo sloveno in Italia?
Why we are talking Slovenian in Italy? For 500 years, till 1917, this region was under the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Under this empire, we were talking in Slovenian, German, Friulano, and also Italian language. Then in 1917, Italia comes here, occupied us. We said always say that. And then we have to speak just in Italian. It was un ordine. We cannot choose what language can we talk. Even if we were Slovenian, we have to speak just in Italian. But we live here before Italy comes. And we are very proud to be Slovenian. Till 1945, there was this fascism that we cannot talk in our native language. After this year, then slowly things changed, and now we have our defenses, and we can have our language, our community, and our stuff. So. Today, Mattarella, it's the Italian president, and Pahor, before there's not anymore Pahor the president, will receive laurea ad honorem for all the work that they do in these years to put together these two realities, Slovenian and Italian. All these things of putting together two communities started in 2016 after 100 years of the First World War, where in Doberdo have inaugurated a monument for all the Slovenian soldiers that fight, one for the Italians, one for the Slovenian. And came the two presidents. This time was Mattarella and Borut Pahor. And at the end of this inauguration, they come here and have lunch. And was the first event of this
reconciliation.
Yes, reconciliation. Yes.
Yeah. What is this Karst? Is it a place, a town, a rock, a region? What is the Karst?
Carso is a geographical place. It's not a town. It's a kind of region, but it's not. It's between Italy and Slovenia. Once was together, now it's the border, but the border is not anymore. It's mostly rock.
Rock.
Just 20 centimeters of earth. Then it's just rock. It's a lot of caves. The water fall down, don't remain up. Because of the First World War and also because of the Cold War, it's destroyed because it's a lot of caves that are natural but also excavated from the soldiers, and also trincee. It's
trenches.
Yeah, where the soldiers are down, and also another thing in Carso we have
Biodiversity.
Much as biodiversity like in all Germany. So it's very, very particular, very beautiful. We love that.
So speaking of the deep rocks, I have to ask you to describe the cantina here, because you told me that your grandfather carved all the bricks by hand, and I find that just hard to imagine. It's amazing.
In 1994, my father and my mother decided to make this wine cellar, because they went around in Italy, in Friuli, to see other places, other restaurants. They have this idea to make this cellar, and people here around said, "What, are you crazy? Do you know what that means to scavare?
To excavate.
To excavate in Carso, it's just a rock. It costs so much. Who will come here to see these things? You are crazy." And they decided to go ahead. And for 4 months they excavate this thing. All the stones was taken away in another place, and then here my grandfather for 3 months have make this stone regular too, and then they put it like you see in the arch.
Doveva essere più
It has to
piccola.
be smaller, but then when they excavate, they found a trench of the First World War, so they have more space and they go.
I just have to say that story and being there, it's unbelievable. It was really an experience. So to answer the question of your neighbors, of your grandparents, who will come to see this, I will come to see it, and I will feel very moved. So.
Where we are here is just the oldest part of the house. Here in this corner, when you see the Shoemaker lab, it's the original place where all started, because my grandfather was a shoemaker. He prepared the shoes, and then his wife said, "You don't want a glass of wine? Do you want some soup?" And then started to, when the people waiting for the shoes, my grandmother gave them something to eat.
What about the rest of the house, and what was it like to grow up in this museum?
In 1870, when it all started, it was just a little house with the roof in paglia. Paglia, it's horses.
So. Yeah.
The roof was like that. Then the years slowly, they enlarged this house. In 1915, so about 40 years later, they have to go away from this house because here was the First World War. All the population of the village has to go in Austria because the population was evacuated in a safe place.
See.
When they returned in 1918, the house, all the village was destroyed. So all of our population has to rebuild the house, all the houses. So they have to start again. When they returned in 1918, they found another country. My grandmother was a stranger in his own home because he has to talk in Italian and pay in lira. And when she go in the 15, she was talking in German and Slovenian and pay in korona.
See.
So it was a shock for all the people here.
Wow. Yeah.
Then slowly they restart all their lives very, very slowly. And it was a typical trattoria in the 1960 arrives the water, arrives the electricità, asfalto.
Sì.
Very, very, very late here. And then people start to come from the other villages. My grandfather was a farmer, so he was all the day in the woods, in the camp. And they went in the evening. He was here with the people of the village. When my father grew up, he take this place and started slowly to enlarge.
I don't want to take too much more of your time because I can see what a big work it is for you every day, and you have to go serve lunch. But for me, it's such a big world of language. I can't possibly learn them all, so my door is the sayings. I can see that you speak so many languages, all of you, beautifully. But I wonder what sayings we can share in Slovenian or another language.
Kako bi rekli, si vive il presente per pensare al futuro, ma guardando le origini del passato.
We live in the present to look in the future, but not to forget the past.
Oh.
Grazie, hvala, grazie, thank you, danke.
And thank you so much. It's Lokanda Devetak. I'm going to put the links to how you can find out about this place in the notes for the show, devetak.com. You have to check it out. Come and make a visit to this region. From everything you learn from this program and from the YouTube episode about the wine. But when you come to this part of the world, you have to stay here. I say, wherever you go and whatever you like to drink, always remember to enjoy your life and to never stop learning.
Support us on Patreon. Grab the newsletter at motodeberry.com and subscribe to the YouTube channel at motodeberry to watch the travel show, Motodeberry TV. Music for the show was composed by Ercilia Prosperi for the band Oh. Purchase their music at the link in the notes.